Stepmom demanded I pay $800 rent, so I evicted her, her two freeloader kids, and took back the $1.2 million house my grandparents secretly left me. My dad died when I was 19. He'd been sick for 2 years before that, and his wife Janet made those 2 years absolutely miserable for both of us. She married him when I was 15, and I never liked her. She had 2 kids from her first marriage, both older than me, and they moved into our house like they owned the place. When Dad got diagnosed, Janet started acting like she was already a widow. She redecorated his study. She got rid of his workshop tools. She told me I needed to be quieter, because her kids needed the house to feel peaceful. Her son Troy was 22 and hadn't worked in 3 years. Her daughter Amber was 24 and sold essential oils on Facebook while living in our basement. The house was actually my grandparents' place. They died when I was 12, and Dad moved us in. It was this old 4-bedroom craftsman in a neighborhood that got way nicer over the years. When Dad died, Janet told me the house was hers now. She had the paperwork and everything. Marriage meant it transferred to her. I was a sophomore in college, living in the dorms. I came home one weekend and she sat me down at the kitchen table. Troy and Amber were both there, which should have been my first clue something was up. Janet slid a piece of paper across to me. It was a rental agreement. She said if I wanted to keep my childhood bedroom for breaks in summer, I needed to pay $800 a month. Her kids lived there full-time and contributed to the household, she said. I needed to do the same. I looked at the paper. It had terms about quiet hours and shared bathroom schedules and a bunch of rules about overnight guests. My signature line was at the bottom. I told her I'd think about it. That week, I called my grandparents' lawyer. The firm was still around, and the old guy who handled their estate was retired, but his daughter worked there now. I explained the situation. She asked me to come in. Turns out my grandparents had put the house in a trust. Dad had lifetime rights to live there, but ownership was set to pass to me on my 25th birthday, or upon his death, whichever came first. Janet had no legal claim to it. Dad's name was never even on the deed. She'd been lying about the paperwork. The lawyer filed the necessary documents. I became the legal owner 3 days later. I drove home that Saturday. Janet's car was in the driveway along with Troy's beat-up sedan. I walked in with the ownership papers and found all 3 of them in the living room watching TV. I told Janet I wouldn't be signing her rental agreement. Instead, I was giving her 30 days notice to vacate. Her and both her kids. She laughed. She actually laughed and said I couldn't kick her out of her own house. I put the papers on the coffee table. Troy picked them up first. His face went pale. He handed them to Janet and she started reading. Her whole expression changed as she went through each page. Amber kept asking what was happening. Janet said this was impossible. The house was hers. Dad left it to her. I told her Dad never owned it. My grandparents made sure of that. They knew what they were doing. She started yelling. She said I was an ungrateful little brat. She'd taken care of Dad when he was sick. She'd fed me and housed me. I owed her. I said she had 29 days left. She tried to fight it. She called a lawyer who told her the exact same thing mine did. The trust was airtight. She had no case. Her kids started panicking because they'd been living rent-free for years and had no savings. Janet sent me long emails about how cruel I was, how Dad would be ashamed, how I was spitting on his memory. I deleted them without reading past the first lines. On day 28, she tried one last thing. She offered to pay me rent if I let them stay. $600 a month total for all 3 of them. I said no. I already had the locks scheduled to be changed on day 31. They moved out on day 29. Janet rented a 2-bedroom apartment across town. Troy and Amber had to share 1 room. I heard through extended family that they were furious about it. Janet kept telling everyone I'd stolen her home.